Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at our current radar. There's a few things going on. We're going to be taking a look at some upcoming severe weather. We now have higher risks than we did even a few days ago, or even I would say as high of a risk as we've had all season probably in the longer range. We're going to need to look at those things. There is a couple of minor snow events happening as well, a couple of major ones for the Rockies that we need to talk about, and just some overall things with the pattern also. Anyways, before I get into this video, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, out of every single severe weather day we're going to talk about today, what do you think is the highest risk we're going to see overall? And also, which day do you think it's going to come? I think I know which one it's probably going to be, but I don't know what you guys are going to say as far as how high the severe weather risk will be. So let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into this video. And first things first, we're taking a look at our current radar imagery. There is a couple of storms going on. We see some stuff going on up here in the northwest we'll need to talk about. Again, some snowfall here for the Rockies and just some storminess here for surrounding regions. And we're going to be seeing a lot of this in here. And then we have a lot of thunderstorm activity here for the southeast and even up through the mid-Atlantic today. I heard my first thunder finally this morning, guys, at about 5:30 a.m. I woke up to a crack of thunder, kind of far in the distance, but, you know, the first one of the season, I'm always like, what is that? What is that noise? Kind of freak yourself out, and then you realize, oh, it's just thunder. As we get more into the thunderstorm season here in Virginia, it becomes a lot more common, and then your brain kind of goes to that. But once it's been like 6 months or so since you've seen or heard thunder, it is kind of weird. So I am excited that I did hear thunder, though. There's some minor activity going on up there, and then also up here in the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. I guess it's about right now where I should tell you guys that on our Patreon page, we did go into the very long range beyond 240 hours to try to find all the storm signals of any major storms that we can be dealing with over the next 15 or 20 days. And we did go over some in the short range as well, but we used the GFS model, and I showed 3 major storm signals that I see over the next 15 to 20 days, most of which are within the next 10 days, so you will see that in this video, but there was actually one that we touched on that's outside of that range that you will not be seeing in this video. That's just the very, very long range. I think it's a really interesting post, so if you are interested in joining our Patreon page, you can find a link to that in the description and in the pinned comments down below. Let's go ahead and move into the northwest here. We can see some activity moving into here, but we're not dealing with nearly as much activity as we were over the past few days. There was widespread activity happening over the past few days, so this is kind of a nice break from it. Mostly snowfall for this mountain range here, and then also some of these northern Cascades as well. We see some of that activity going on. Rainfall in between, so for the more coastal regions here near Seattle, and then even offshore here, we're seeing a lot of rainfall. So kind of interesting. We do have some showers here for Montana going on, so that's also worth noting. Let's see. Some activity offshore of Northern California. We could be getting some showers in this region throughout the day today. Down here for the Rockies, we do have this storm. This is going to be kind of our next low pressure system eventually that will bring a lot of severe weather down south of where we're even looking right now, and a lot of snowfall for the Rockies. So Wyoming in through Colorado, we're seeing a lot of that, even spreading into western Nebraska as well. There we're seeing that. So lots of moderate to heavy snowfall going on at this point, and a lot of rainfall happening to the east of those areas as well. We do see that there is some showers, like I mentioned before, happening in the plains from Nebraska and through Iowa, Wisconsin, and even into Michigan as well, but they're quite minor at this point. Up here for Maine, we are having some snowfall and rainfall showers depending on where you're at, so you could be dealing with that. And then just these thunderstorms, I guess. That's the only other thing that's going on, but for the Carolinas and up through Virginia, like I mentioned, I had some happening. We do see these kind of showers and then eventually thunderstorms moving northward. For this area, it has been a little bit worse here for central North Carolina. We even have a severe thunderstorm warning, it looks like, here for around Elizabeth City. I'm not surprised. That storm does look a little potent, so we're going to be watching that one closely, obviously. But we see these areas where we were seeing lightning. This moved through Raleigh, and it's moving up towards the Farmville, Virginia area eventually. although it could be very dissipated by that point. We saw this area also move up into these regions, southeast Virginia, northeast North Carolina, dealing with that, kind of my home region there. We've been dealing with these thunderstorms all morning, and even now a severe thunderstorm warning, which is interesting. I think that's mostly for wind, so you might wake up to some gusty winds if you live in that area. Out ahead of it, there is just more of like shower type storm modes. No lightning with this that I can see. So there's a lot of showers out ahead of these, and then just these thunderstorms behind them. And that looks to linger maybe for a few hours as a lot of this activity moves through. These are a little bit more potent here on the south end. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at the modeled guidance and just talk about the upcoming pattern, and then we have a lot to talk about on the Storm Prediction Center, just like the last few days. Alright, now here's the European model. We're just walking through this. We can see these storms move up further north. They stretch further north. We're seeing a lot of that snowfall still continuing here for the Rockies. A 999 millibar low pressure center over Texas there. That's what's going to bring some of our severe weather over the next couple of days. But more of the major stuff is actually going to come with storm number 2. We'll talk about storm number 2 in a minute. But we do see some severe weather starting up for these regions in here with this one. And then this low pressure system stays moderately weak, and we really just see showers, maybe some thunderstorm activity, but really just lighter precipitation with this one and less major impacts for the most part. Now, we move towards storm number 2, and this one again brings a lot of snowfall here to the Rockies. So we're in that carbon copy pattern again. That's what I talk about a lot in that Patreon post that I made. Again, pinned comment, description down below. You can join that if you are interested. But carbon copy pattern is what I've been calling it. I think I started that kind of phrase for it in, what was it, like January, maybe earlier in February, but we've been in this carbon copy pattern with these storms taking the same exact track, and you guys know which track I'm talking about. Dips down and then rises up like that. This is the storm track we've been seeing for like 3 months now. It's a very stubborn pattern, one of the more stubborn patterns I've ever seen probably. And this in particular, Monday into Tuesday, is the day that I'm watching for, especially I think Monday here, where the Storm Prediction Center is really indicating that there could be something serious going on around this time frame. And it's also interesting to note that we have a lot of snowfall happening in Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico as well. Very, very heavy snowfall. If this continues to trend as bad as it's looking now, I will likely be going live Monday. That's not a promise, but I would like to ideally go live on Monday if the situation does end up looking anything like this. And if Monday's as bad as I think it could be, that could mean that Tuesday could be pretty bad, a little bit further east. And then even the Storm Prediction Center is indicating that Wednesday we could have some severe weather activity happening even further east with this system. They haven't indicated anything for Thursday, but based on how things look, I wouldn't even be surprised if we see another day of, some sort of thunderstorm / severe thunderstorm risk for these regions. So multiple days of severe weather with that just strong or low pressure system that moves through. A very strong Arctic cold front underneath it as well, as you can see. Look at how the Arctic air just spills in behind it. Watch those blue lines. This area here, see the blue lines that's indicating colder air. Watch how it just spills in behind that cold front. That's indicating a very strong Arctic cold front that just leads the way for that Arctic air to dip its way down. And then we get into a quieter pattern, but the jet stream looks like this. So spring might not be permanently here. As you can see, we get another winter-like pattern in the east by about the 27th. Again, that's 2 storm signals, but on our Patreon page, we go over a third one that happens a few days after this time frame. So if you are curious about that, you can check it out. But once it's within reasonable range, we will be talking about it on this channel once it shows up here on the European model. So if you don't want to buy that, it is still optional, obviously. So you can just wait until it's within this range. Now let's go over the Storm Prediction Center real quick. Here's the day 1 categorical outlook. We have 4 general thunderstorm risks, 1 there for Colorado and New Mexico, 1 there for North Carolina, Virginia, the Delmarva, up through Maryland, even New Jersey as well. We see 1 for southern Florida, and then we see the big one down there for the south, central, and the Gulf states of the United States. General thunderstorm risks means that basically just what the word sounds like, just going to be general thunderstorms. That's what things are looking like. Now, as we move into the dark green there, you can see that for Oklahoma, Texas. Let me circle it here. In that region there, not the yellow, but the green area surrounding the yellow is our marginal risk, and that's where we expect severe weather to become a little bit more possible. Severe weather can happen in the general thunderstorm risk, or even in the area that's not even colored at all. I'm sure it's happened before. But the marginal area, the darker green area, is where we start to expect it to happen at some point, possibly. Now, the yellow region is our slight risk area, and that's where things become a little bit even more likely than the darker green area. And it would be almost shocking if no severe weather happened in this yellow region here on today, Thursday, March 17th. So that is definitely worth noting. Now, for the individual outlooks, day one wind outlook, we have two areas in green there that are 5% chance of damaging wind within 25 miles of a given location. The two yellow areas here, which you can hardly see because I use a yellow pen here, are going to be 15% chance of damaging wind. Now, for the hail outlook, we can see things are a little bit more elevated. Again, 5% chance there in the green, 15% chance there in the yellow. Tornado outlook, we have a 2% chance within 25 miles of a given location there in the green region, and another 2% chance there within the other green region. But we also have a 5% chance within 25 miles of a given location there in southern Louisiana and southwestern Mississippi there, very extreme southwestern Mississippi. Now, for the day two categorical outlook, this is going to be for Friday, March 18th. We have a very large general thunderstorm risk here in the eastern United States, but we also have a very large marginal risk there in the eastern United States in the darker green. And then we have two slight risk areas that I'm underlining here. One there for Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. The other one is for Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida as well. Again, general thunderstorm risk, we don't expect severe weather. It will be slightly possible, but not expected at all. Marginal risk, we do expect severe weather to be possible. And with that large of a marginal risk, it's more likely than not that we will see some severe weather somewhere in there, but it's just going to be isolated. The two slight risk areas is where we expect things to get a little bit more widespread. Not completely widespread, but we will see bigger pockets of that severe weather taking place. Now, the individual outlooks, again, damaging wind, 5% chance within 25 miles of a given location there within the green, and then a 15% chance there within the two yellow regions. Hail, same exact locations and same exact percentages and same exact colors. Everything's exactly the same here. Tornadoes is almost the same as those, except 2% chance there within the green, within 25 miles of a given location, of course, and then two 5% chance areas as well. So it might be a little bit of a bigger tornado day, unfortunately, as well. Day three, we get more of an East Coast threat here. So again, big old general thunderstorm risk here within the lighter green. Another one out west as well. Again, general thunderstorms expected. But we also have our marginal risk here, stretching all the way to New Jersey and down to the Florida Panhandle as well, where severe weather could happen in there. Isolated reports of severe weather wouldn't be too shocking. Now, the yellow region, again, is our slight risk area, and that is where severe weather is a little bit more likely, like I said before. Now, it's time we talk about percentages here. I just want to talk about percentages real quick. Let's move into we're going to change this from categorical to probabilistic here. Okay, and I want you to notice something. 5% chance of severe weather is a marginal risk, and 15% chance of severe weather is a slight risk. But we can see down here that there's a 30% chance above it, which would be an enhanced risk. Moderate would be 45% chance of severe weather, and 60% would be a high risk of severe weather. That's all within 25 miles of a given location. So they use those individual outlooks like the wind, the hail, the tornadoes to dictate which category you make it up into based on the percentages here. Now, we need to move into the extended range, days, beyond day three here, and we can only see the probability forecast. So first off, day 5, we don't have a day 4 outlook, but day 5, this is Monday, March 21st, and this is the really bad one. We have a 15% chance there within that yellow region for a lot of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and southern Oklahoma. Since that's a 15% chance, that directly translates to a slight risk once it's within the categorical outlook range, which is days 1, 2, and 3. They don't go beyond that with the categorical outlook. We only get the percentages here, but we can translate. So 15% chance there within the yellow region. And then this orange area is a 30% chance. And that's the highest they go on the extended range, days 4 through 8. And that at least is an enhanced risk when you see that. But when it's on day 5, I've noticed that some of the worst severe weather days that we've had in recent years will be indicated by the Storm Prediction Center, in the extended range, days 4, 5, 6, or 7, or 8. And they almost always get these ones right where they will have it in the 30% chance, just like this. I can remember some of our worst severe weather events look something like this in the long range. Now, we're going to hope that that's not the case here. Maybe it'll just be a slight risk and then an enhanced risk, which would be really, really good news. But it could be much worse. So we're going to have to watch this very closely. And we will be watching it over the coming days. And I encourage you to frequently, especially if you live underneath this either yellow or orange region, to just daily check what the Storm Prediction Center is showing, because once it's within days 3, 2, and then eventually 1, they will have much more info for you guys that'll be very useful. Let's move to day 6, because this threat really does move eastward here, as you can see, for a lot of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. But we don't have the orange threat at all for this one yet, at least. We have just the 15% chance, which indicates a very large flight risk. Now, for day 7, we have still kind of like the remnants here for Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. A little tiny slight risk area would likely be setting up on this date. But this is very long range at this point, day 7, and this could change quite a bit. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, we're at a 4 out of 6. I still don't really know when I'll ever go away from a 4 out of 6. Since my format has changed, my confidence doesn't really go up or down too much, but I'm sure once we're talking about hurricanes and things like that, that it'll fluctuate a lot more. For today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, do you think that winter is basically done, or do you think we can expect more major snowstorms? And Dearman CR said, I think we're mostly done with major snowstorms, but we'll still have the occasional minor one in the northern United States and the Rockies. And I certainly agree. The Rockies are still fully engaged in wintertime, and that's very normal. Usually they're the first to see it, and they are the last to see it every single year. And that's staying true here, because we see when we were looking at the model guidance, there was a lot of that snowfall showing up here for the Rockies, and that's going to continue. But it's more of the lower elevation areas that we're going to need to watch, and it's more of a, will it continue or will it stop? But only time will tell. I did like that comment though. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovin Eagle, Literally Band, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Holamaker, Kodalessa, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Bill Dallas, Gary's, and John Khaleesi also. I would also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.